I was thinking of saying something about grace, and I thought, oh, well, now I was listening to the song when I was coming home, Your Grace by Michael W. Smith, and it's a lovely song. It's kind of interesting because there was this family. When the character assassination started, there was a whole bunch of people in Grampian Street who hated me because the word was spread I was evil. So interestingly enough, um, oh, I kept walking up and down the street going when I'd go to get the bread in the morning. In the morning, I would play with my music player. It was a little blue one back then, I think. I would play Michael W. Smith songs, Grace and the others, and there was a religious family, and they kept glaring at me, this elderly couple, and they kept glaring at me for quite a while. And then the more I walked past them playing his songs, the more they kept staring at me. And eventually, the woman approached me, was really nice to me, and they ended up leaving and selling the house and going to Auckland. And one day, I was walking up the road up Grampian Street towards Tainui Street, and she saw me. They pulled over and they said they'd been praying for me, and they really wished me best for good for the future and all that. And I thought that was really sweet. So it does show that God finds a way to reach people. It's just easier to reach religious people. I found with grace, with helping people over the internet, if they were Christians or religious or they believe in God, just say that if they believed in God, it was easier to stop them committing suicide and giving them hope again. Because with atheism, there's no hope. You're not born for a reason. You come from apes. You're just born to get as much pleasure and fun as you can and then die. Whereas with Christianity or with, I gotta stop saying Christianity and just say with God and believing in God, it's you have a reason for being born, and there's a need for you to be born. God has a path for you, something for you to do, and there's a need that you follow God and not follow people, and God will show you your path. He'll show you what to do. The only problem with people is they get in the way and they confuse us and twist us off that path. When that happens, we harm people, we do wrong to people, we shame people, we might be part of gossip, character assassination, hate schemes, and stuff like that. And we can think it's a good thing if it seems like we're attacking a bad person, but as I found it with character assassination, people attack you thinking it's character assassination and it's not. See that little bag there? That's from Jasmine on Facebook. She it's I can't remember what you call that plant. It smells nice. And I asked her for a couple and she put them on my letterbox. Anyway, grace is, we want God to forgive us and we want God's grace. If we do bad to people, we don't want the punishment that comes with what we did. If we find out we've done really, really bad, the old story, you get what you get. You get what you give out. So we find out we've spent 5-6 years hurting someone, then we're supposed to get it tenfold back. So it's like, oh, no, we don't want to do that. We don't want to be part of that. So we think to ourselves, no, we're going to do that. And then we ask God for His grace to protect us and help us so we get back on our feet and get our act into gear and sort out our life again. When people come to us, when you're angry with people, this is my problem. When you're angry at people, you don't want to give them grace. You don't want to be nice. It was like when I saw this guy, the weasel, about 2 weeks ago, and he was going for a jog, and I was walking back with my bike down Grampian, and I shoved my bike right out across the path to block his way so that we'd get into a fight. And he didn't, and he went around and went into the bushes, and because there's no room in the footpath, I was trying to force him into a fight. I can't stand the guy. I don't like the guy, and he's everything like the girl he's abusing, Kitten, like her father. I have a real dislike of males who are gutless and cowards who would abuse children or their own children. And it's very hard for me as a male who was brought up with movies and like the likes of Jimmy Stewart's type movies and John Wayne's, where they were good, decent people, or Walker Texas Ranger and that. And you want to believe those people exist. And then when you get the opposite, people who will abuse people and drug people and take advantage of them, and it's horrible. And so it's very hard to walk past someone like that without wanting to take them to task for the evil things they've done, because they haven't repented, they haven't stopped doing it, and you might be the only one in town who knows they're doing it, and everyone's on their side, but it's hard to control yourself sometimes. So I'm just saying that because I shouldn't have done it. As soon as I done it, I was saying to God, oh, no, no, no. But honestly, if he replied, I would have replied like if he swung a punch, then I would have been more than happy to finish that off. What, mother cat? So anyway, Mr. Trouble. This is the naughtiest cat in the world. He's so fast, man. Anyway, so grace is when they come to you and they apologize and they say, look, I'm really sorry for what I've done. I'm really sorry for the way I treated you. And I'm really sorry and I want to make it up to you. And I'm sorry, I've made a mistake. And I believe that even if you don't want to show grace, you have to. You must do. Because it's the law. You know, the law is that you must do it. And it's kind of like God. Someone does something bad and they go to God on their knees and they're crying and God sees them in that moment, like Mary crying at Jesus' feet. You must forgive them. You must welcome them into your life and you must help them. If they repent and they completely change their ways and they want to make up for what they've done, then it's a turning over of a new leaf. That's the shock and the horror of who they were in the past. It's just shock and the horror of what they've done in the past. And they regret so heavily they've come to you to apologize. There can be nothing more wonderful than that. Because, you see, for every evil person or evil act we do, or mistakenly doing evil, we're... Cat is constantly talking. Mother cat, that's her making, if you can hear the noise, and she's constantly calling the kittens. It's kind of, there's no hope in the world if we can't forgive those people. If they come to you, I know a family where, a Christian family where a member of the family was sexually abused by a man, and years later he became a Christian, and he went to them and he apologized, and they had him over for dinner, and they said the dinner went well, and everyone was kind and polite to him, and he was kind and polite back, and I don't think he ever saw him again. But the point was they wanted to know if they were forgiven enough to do that. And I highly admire them for what they did. Absolutely. You know, if anyone can do that and forgive the person once the person has changed. So it's important that when a person comes to you and wants to change, that we forgive them and we show grace. We show maturity and responsibility and love, God's love, to them. And in doing that, from that second onwards, like we hug them, from that second onwards, we're changing that person's path to something wonderful and beautiful. If we yell at that person, if we abuse that person, if we're cruel to that person, we destroy everything. We destroy all their hope, all their, and they more than likely will retaliate with anger and fury that we've been so bad to them, in their view, well, how they're reacting because of it. So don't create evil from evil, not an eye for an eye. An eye for an eye is someone comes to me and apologize, and I yell and scream at them. Grace is when they come to me and they apologize and they convince me that they've apologized. They must convince you. Otherwise it's fake and they'll just do it again. But if you're convinced, then, you have to do everything you can to help them. But I found with the people that who have hurt me, I've been nice to them anyway. And any of the ones in the character assassination, like Kitten or her sisters and other people, if they had a flat tire on the side of the road and there was no one else to fix the tire, I'd fix it for them. I'd help them. And if they needed protection at night and they're walking the streets and someone was going to attack them, then I'd risk my life protecting them. The whole idea is to show love. I get a lot of that from the missionaries and the books. Many books I read about the missionaries in the 1800s, where a lot of them went to places and they showed people love. There was a guy who went with Livingston, what's his name? Mr. Livingston. And he was out in the jungle, and this guy was with him for, I can't remember, 4 or 5 years maybe. And this guy said, "So you're a Christian?" And he said, "Yes." And he said, "So how did Livingston convert you?" Because he was his assistant. "How did he convert you?" And he said he didn't. Not with words. And he said, "What do you mean?" And he said, he prayed, and I became a follower of God, or a believer in God, by watching his life. And I just looked at him and thought, I want to be like that. So when we forgive a person, we're doing that. We're like showing them, when you show them grace, it's giving them hope for a new start, a new beginning, and a new life. Everything the opposite of what they had in the past. But this time with the faith that God's there, God's protecting them, God's got a plan for them, God's going to guide them, God's going to put them in certain directions, have them meet people, bump into people, help people, and people will bump into them and help them, and all sorts of stuff like that. God's guidance. And it's an everyday thing. And so, it's just special, it's just wonderful, it's just amazing. And if we show grace, we're giving them hope. We're giving them a new chance. If we don't show grace, we're just putting them back where they were, and maybe twice as angry and furious and nasty as they ever were. So we must always show grace. And then once we've done that, we must do everything we can to help them go on their new path. Show them love, show them compassion, show them help, guide them, protect them, and give them a chance to have a really wonderful life. The total opposite of the past. And that's taking people and changing them from evil to good. But you cannot do that until they get it in their head they have to change. It has to be a total, complete change of commitment from them to start it off. And then when they come to you, you help them through it. So that's why we must always show grace, even if we're angry with someone or we don't quite feel like it at the time. We must look at them straight away and immediately recognize what's going on, and immediately say, if God can forgive them and God can show them grace, then I darn well can. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. And we turn over a new leaf about their life, and we turn over a new leaf about our feelings for them. We take out the trash, the dark feelings, and we bring in the new, and we let them become our new friend in a loving, trusting way, so that they push the darkness that was in us, that came from them previously. They push it out of us, and then the darkness is gone. And we're filled with holy light from that person. Love, compassion, friendship, companion, comradeship, or whatever they say. All that, everything good. So, yeah, just had a thought to say that. Okay, God bless you. Have a good day.